Leader podcast. Right now, I am very pleased to have Mr. Chris Collins from RigServe. He is the CEO of the company, and of course, we bring nothing but the best to our viewers. Now, we are here at the Roseland 10th Annual West Texas Oil and Gas Convention and Charity Cook-Off. I've been very fortunate to have these lovely gentlemen as my booth mates on the side, and I invited Chris to come on over and talk a little bit about his company and what he does. Talk to us, Chris. What you got?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm Chris Collins, as you said, with RigServe. We are a global supply chain consulting company. We started this company, I spent about 20 years in oil and gas, mainly upstream offshore, and realized that we were hiring a lot of consultants to come out and help us. Those consultants were really bright people with MBAs, and we thought they knew our business and technology, and typically about 6 months down the road we realized they didn't know either one. And by then we had already made some decisions that we couldn't go back on.
Right.
So we've developed technology, and we bring subject matter experts together to help people improve their inventory and supply chain management across the oil and gas industry.
That's fascinating. And is it just in oil and gas, or do you serve any other industries?
So we started in oil and gas, and we were, hence the name RigServe.
Right.
We were 99% oil and gas. And then we also were a system implementer for ERP and EAM solutions.
Very good.
And because of that, that's allowed us to expand outside of that. So now we've worked on projects with the U.S. Navy, Tito's Vodka,
Nice.
to everything. But oil and gas is still about 60% of our business.
Wow. Well, and originally that was your original focus.
It was.
It was.
Yeah, even the name was, I worked for Transocean for a long time. And
Yes.
I had a friend who was VP of a company called ShipServe.
Oh, really?
And I tried to get them to create a rig-based oil and gas platform, knock off their own platform, just name it RigServe.
Sure.
And they said, we've got enough going on in shipping, we don't need that. And so basically, hence the name was RigServe when I was trying to do something. My boss had told our board that we were going to reduce our inventory by hundreds of millions of dollars, and it was on me to do it. So I was trying to find solutions at the time.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's just a small task, right?
Small task, and
Right.
asked him where he came up with the number, and he said, I made it up in the meeting. So
And you're like, great, because my solutions, I just made them up too. So there you go, right? One for one.
we're all good.
Let me ask you this: how, if at all, does AI play into how you conduct and perform your service?
Sure. We use, so one thing I mentioned was really around that inventory management space. And so all of our customers, they're the end users of equipment. So they buy capital assets from the large manufacturers. Those manufacturers sell the components to maintain that equipment, but they don't manufacture most of those components. But they don't tell you who does manufacture, right?
Right.
So they put a screen up in front of you.
Of course.
And that way they can charge you what they want.
Right.
So we've built tools, because there's really only two times you can get that data. It's when you physically touch the item.
Right.
So shipping and receiving, and when you count it or issue it out.
Right.
So we do a lot of inventory counts around the world. So we go out to, these oil fields out here. We go out to their warehouses and yards, and our teams go out and count. And we've built an app that our teams go up and they just do an inventory count. There's 3 widgets here. It's that widget. There's a data dictionary behind it that is based on some machine learning that starts narrowing down what it should be and suggesting.
Oh, interesting.
But then the AI really comes in when they take a photo. And the field guys don't even know this is happening. They just take a couple of photos, and then there's some image analytics behind the scenes. These AI engines run, and they'll scrape the text off anything.
Oh, nice.
So you can have like a black coiled up hose that says 150 PSI on it.
Right.
And it'll pull all that text off
Holy
and
cow.
drop it into the right field.
Oh, nice.
And then we have team members that are in low-cost countries that they do QC. So at night, the guys are here in the U.S., they do all that, they take the photos, and at night they go through and make sure the AI captured the right text. And our teams are also doing it, because we all got a bunch of guys with big fingers, right? Making sure that you're not fat fingering
it, sure. Right. And that happens quite a bit. So you have the AI, you have the guys, again, manually entering, but then you also have a QC, you have a quality control check, and making sure that all that's done. Well, that's fantastic. And your QC, is it all done here in the United States?
Some is done in the U.S., and then some we do in India as well.
Oh, very cool.
So we work, we have an office in Sri Lanka. So our ERP system we support is IFS
Okay.
and EM's Ultimo, and they have their resource centers in Sri Lanka.
Mm-hmm.
So we hire there. So we try to, where we work mostly, we try to hire most of our resources there.
Right. That
But
makes
we
sense.
work, a lot of our business is the offshore side, so it's all over the world.
It's all over the world. Talk to me a little bit about your offshore, because that's something that I've always found very interesting. And as I've been progressing here in the podcast and meeting people, I've been very fortunate to meet a lot of really amazing people in offshore, and I can't wait to get them on the show, actually. But talk to me a little bit about some of your processes for that area of the business.
Yeah, and it's a lot of it's just like doing something onshore for what we do. Really, the offshore piece is you just add a marine element to everything, and the certifications to go offshore is a little more rigorous.
There you go.
Mark and I were just in Aberdeen. We're doing a global supply chain transformation project for a major driller right now.
Nice.
We're going around to all their rigs, their warehouses, their yards, their offices, and we're looking at them from top down on where the gaps are, people, processes, and technology. And we were really on a Billy Pugh basket in the North Sea last
goodness.
week.
Oh my goodness.
Like 30-degree weather, and that was pretty interesting last week.
Wow, that's it. And so, would you say that at least in this part of your career, you have gone to places, done things, and seen things that you might never have imagined?
Without a doubt. Yeah, I think so. I've lived in a few countries because of oil and gas. So
Yeah.
I lived in Singapore for a long time. I lived
Nice.
in Dubai and all over Asia. But yeah, I used to spend months that I would just travel. I traveled probably 70% of the time. So my wife and kids stayed back in Singapore, and I was gone all the time.
All the time.
To different shipyard projects or ERP projects. We did a lot of those where I'd go out and have to train all the staff around the world and then go check on different staff members.
Fascinating. That's truly fascinating. And what's your ascension story to CEO? Where were you prior to that? Where did you make your bones? And how did this opportunity come to you?
Sure. I started out with a offshore drilling company. I'd never seen a rig in my life. And a friend of my dad's, actually, he was an engineer. He was a subsea engineer on a drilling rig. And he said, I had gotten out of the military, and he said, hey, you should go try this. It's 6 months on, basically 2 and 2. It's 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
The pay's good. You can finish college. So I was able to do that. And then I got put in a management training program at a drilling company. And then moved around the world with those drilling companies.
Wow.
And then transitioned to shelf drilling, mainly in supply chain and projects. And then got into ERP space, helping implement software. And then I went to Insco, which is Valaris now. Doing the same thing.
Yes.
And then when I was there, I decided I wanted to go out on my own. So my partner, who's also named Chris, not confusing, he would come in and build custom software for us. So when I was going to different companies, I would hire his company to come in and build a lot of business intelligence and analytics, really, and then custom asset management tools. So I talked to him and we said, hey, let's shut your company down
Right.
and let's form a company
Right.
together. And so we did that. We'll celebrate 10 years in May this year. So we're
Hey,
almost 10 years.
congratulations.
Yeah. So that's been cool.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's really impressive. It's tremendous. And I can tell by the smile you're trying to contain that you really are excited. Like it really does mean a lot to get to where you are from where you were.
Yeah, it's been awesome to be able to do this, to be able to provide jobs to so many people.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got people all over the world that work for us.
Right.
I mean, it's been hundreds over the years. So that's been good.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing that you have the ability, you have the power, the ability, and the capability to change people's lives, and that you do. And I sincerely appreciate that and everything you've contributed to the oil and gas industry. Chris, what a pleasure.
Yeah, wonderful. Nice
Thank you so
meeting
much. What a pleasure
Thanks
to
a
meet
lot.
you. Well, I appreciate you. So, ladies, to do us a favor, look into the camera, tell your name once again. I was going to say name your boss, but you are the boss. But look in the camera, tell the folks once again your name and the company.
Hi, I'm Chris Collins with RigServe.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. We'll catch you on the next one.